It's leaking on the outside. Into the leaves. Hopefully I don't have a backfire there.
Woo! Honest, we didn't catch it on fire. It is the fire department. Not us. This 1937 Buick says it will do 120 miles an hour. But today with Hagerty, we're gonna just see if it runs. Hey, if you like what you're watching, do me a favor. Go check out the Hagerty Drivers Club. 24/7 roadside assistance with flatbed towing, subscription to our award-winning magazine, and more. Sign up today. Links right down here in the description. So this is a 1937 Buick Special with a Buick straight 8. Typically, the Specials came with a 248 from everything I understand. So we're gonna go with that. Now, if you're really interested in a cool time lapse of a 263, go check that out, it's over here. But for us today, we're gonna start with the ignition, see if it turns over, make sure it's got fuel, and see if we can make some spark and some boom and some bang. Maybe not in that order. Here we go. All right, let's just pry on the belt here. I got full rotation, but let's see. I thought all these old cars were supposed to have a lot of room in them. I'm satisfied that the motor's free. That's a great place to start. Let's yank all our plugs out. Okay, let's see if we have, what do we have for oil? Might be a little goopy. Yeah, there's oil. There's plenty. It looks like maybe a half quart low. And these don't look too bad. Well, oily, but they don't look bad.
All right, putting a little deep creep in each one of the holes. Free up anything that may be on the cylinder walls. I think it's just a good idea to have some amount of lubrication on something that hasn't been running in quite a while. It certainly cannot hurt.
So while that soaks just a hair, and I'm right here on this side. It's convenient that everything is over here for this. All your ignition one side, all your fuel on the other. Well, other than the fuel pump, I suppose, but gotta split hairs, I suppose, I guess. Oh, 1.3, beautiful. Coil checks out fine that way. What are we looking at here? Don't look too bad. Don't see rusty. Looks like a fresh cap. Can I reach it? There we go. Caparoo, back on down. Well, these plugs don't look nearly as bad as some of them have in the past. It didn't work, so we're gonna rely on, these are gonna work. Those look nice? I think they look nice. We're going to move from the plugs. They're all ready to go back in and we'll check spark. But to check spark well, at all, we need to be able to spin the motor over quick enough to make it spark. So we need to trace our wires from the starter going back, and well, it goes that way. Doing a little investigation. It is underneath the passenger seat. Voila, there it is. So I have my wires here and here. Now this most certainly would be a 6-volt system, so everybody right now collectively scream because I'm going to put 12 volts to it. So we're not going to hurt anything. We'll spin the start a little bit faster, but it will not have any issues as far as breaking the electric system on it. And here types every electrical engineer out there. Ah! You can hear it now. That's right. I'm a mechanical guy. Electricity. It's the only thing that ever fails.
Will it go in the hole? Oh. Ooh, she's a tight one, so folks. Maybe we'll regret this, but hopefully not. You know what? I am not going to tighten those up. Because, just in case I want to yank them off real fast. This should have like a push button starter on it. What? I think it's on the gas pedal. That's my bet. Let me look here. We got wires.
We got at least wires over that way. Maybe we'll hit it with a push button out here.
Just to make life easier?
Yeah. On, off. On, off. On, off. Okay.
This ignition switch. It's on here. That's cool. I honestly don't know what the starter button is on there. I won't lie. No idea.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure where the starter switch is at. Please insert comment all the directions of how foolish I am right down here. That's cool. But I do have the ignition switch on. I just not sure how they're engaging the starter button, whatever. So we're gonna jump it from out here. I can control it better anyway. And the second thing I really don't know is which terminal is my solenoid terminal, meaning one goes to the coil, and I guess I could ohm that out, but the other one goes to the solenoid here. I do need a fresh hot wire, so I'm connected to my hot wire from my battery, and we're gonna go here, and then we're gonna go there. Worst case is one works and one doesn't. Or the starter's no good, in that case, neither one of them will. Here we go. That is not it.
Make sure I guess I could make sure I got power there too, but we'll do that after nothing else works. Can kind of touch anywhere along this wire because, well, it's bare.
There we go. That's a good sign. So we have a starter. Here, I'll turn it over a little more so everybody can hear it. Yeehaw. We have pistons going up and down because it's blowing air at me. We're gonna say I counted 8 at one time there. So that's a good sign. So we have a starter, we have a way to turn it over. We have power to the ignition. Now, we are going to put some plugs on it and check all of them for spark. Okay, our plugs are all into the sockets, and I'm gonna go one by one here and check for spark, each one of them, and then we'll put them in the hole. Okay, we don't have any. Let's make sure we got power there, across the coil. And I might not have a good ground here anyway. Well, 12 volts. I just may not have good ground through this nut. I'll try the nut one more time. There it is. Wow, that looks marvelous. Okay, we have plenty of spark on all the plugs, so I'm gonna knock them back in, put the wires on, and then go after the fuel. Now, this is an oil bath air cleaner. Don't flip it over. I mean, you can, but it gets a little ugly. Huh. Glad we got the hood out of the way. There we go. Let's set this over here. So it's got a heated choke. That's coming right off the exhaust manifold. It's gonna hold itself shut. That may or may not help us. We'll see. We're gonna rely that it is functioning because it's moving nicely.
here's my thought process on this. I need to supply fuel to carburetor. I do not have a separate line that I can just go right to that carburetor. I don't want it to even try going through the tank. And I can pull it off, pull the fuel line off at the front of the pump, but that's going to be a little tight to reach because I actually need that little piece of steel hanging out so I can slide my hose on there and clamp it down. So my first attempt is going to be down here, pull the line off at the bottom here, and we'll actually push or potentially draw, if the pump is still good, we'll draw fuel with the pump up and in. If nothing else, we can prime it with the electric pump. So here it goes. We have the appropriate line wrenches to not booger up this nut because no one's put a pair of vice grips on it at this point. That's how I'm going to run fuel to it. I got to stretch the daylights out of this hose to get it on there. I have that line pushed on there. It's on there pretty tight because it's a 5/16 line going on a 3/8 hose. So I softened it up and got it pushed on there. I don't think it'll go anywhere. If it does, well, we'll be the first to know. Let's give it a little juice. All right, we are. All right, I have fuel over here in the fuel filter. That is now full. It is continuing to prime the line. It's leaking on the outside. Into the leaves. Hopefully I don't have a backfire there.
Let's see if it's got squirts. If it doesn't have squirts, we'll feed it whatever my wife fed me the other day. I don't know if we have fuel or not. I got fuel pressure, right? Because it's leaking a little bit at the stock bowl. And I really can't tell if I'm getting fuel to the carburetor. So like anything, I'm gonna be optimistic and jump the gun and give her a shot anyway. See if we can make it run. Fuel pressure, please. Okay. I'm gonna give it a little bit of fuel because I don't think it's squirting. But now I know it's got something at least. It's got a little spray there. Check this out. Starter switch.
Okay, so learning experience. Here we go. Here's how the starter switch works for the 37 Buick. This is the switch like you would have on the column in today's world. When you push the gas pedal down, this is the throttle linkage, you push this down and that engages the starter because this makes. Starter engages over there, spins the motor over, and when this would start, because every time it kicks and kind of cuts out, it's getting just enough vacuum on the intake runner that it's sucking this thing, I'll call it open, right? So it doesn't continue to engage the starter because otherwise you'd be going down a road at 50 miles an hour and give it more fuel and the starter wouldn't engage and you wouldn't have starters very long. So that's my quick tutorial on how this system works. And that makes sense why we couldn't find it. So all that's in the inside is a ignition on, and then the starter switch is here on, connected to the accelerator pedal. So here's my prime example. This is how it works. See? It didn't bark. So here's what we found out. I put the electric fuel pump on the
back side, let's call it, of the pump, front side being towards the carburetor. And for whatever reason, I'm sure the comment section will accumulate all the reasons why, but our electric fuel pump would not push past the mechanical pump. So we went the other direction, and now we have it connected to the back side. So we're just running a fuel line. All we're using is this fuel line up to the carburetor. We verified that we're getting fuel through it. We flushed it out. And again, the only reason I didn't connect it right here is I don't have a fitting, and I'm not going to cut this stock line just to run a rubber piece on there. I can do it down there. So there we are. So John's going to turn on our electric fuel pump and see how much fuel we get spraying everywhere else. And I'm also going to have this bowl plug out on this side to know that verify that we're getting fuel through it. And we don't have to pull it because the needle's stuck. So let's see what happens. I can hear it. I can hear it up here. So I see the float moving, and look at that. See it? Look at it. Perfect. Sweet. Okay, that's good. So we got fuel into the bowl this time. Oh, there we got. Now we got some squirt going. Okay. Here we go. Go ahead. She's trying. Come on, baby. It looks like our float's sticking because it looks like it might be boiling over. I'm waiting for that to fire, like fire. I'd like to hold this open. I don't think it needs choke. Don't think it needs a choke. Hold it open the old-fashioned way. Screwdriver. There. Nothing else, you get to see the fire this way. The screwdriver must be caught on the flywheel. That's what we're looking for. Ran out of fuel. Woo! Sheesh. That's better. And success. It only took one screwdriver down the throat of the carburetor to get this engine running. And yes, it has a little backfire, but you know what? This 37 Buick straight 8 is running. And you know what? Like I say, if you got something out in the yard that doesn't run, get off your backside, get out in the shop, get your work done, because you might have something running by the end of the day or in a couple hours. You never know.
Anticlimactic.
Well, you can cut it though, right?
No, not
like
anymore.
to have cut it on a nice rev.
Yeah, instead we'll just cut it on us lapping it.
You must have a little of that vacuum leak.
All right, so there we have it. Now let's see if we can get a little bit of a. There we go. Boom, baby.